honestly. I'm looking down at this running order now, and I cannot believe the blockbuster topics we've got. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. Wherever you're downloading us, Spotify, Apple, it's amazing, and we appreciate your support. And I'm going to introduce my co-hosts here, and fresh with a new smile, but the same bad takes, is Rory Jennings. How are you, sir?
I'm very well.
You got your pearly whites done this morning?
I did. It's always a special day once I have the Hampsteads clean.
Yeah.
It's a day when I walk about like really showing them off. I'm like Marilyn Monroe. Anyone that looks at me, just for 24 hours.
Yeah.
Too much coffee, we're back to square one.
I'm blinded, mate.
Big day. Yeah, put your sunnies on.
Yeah, winning smile. Rounding off the panel is a guy fueled by chaos and coffee today. I have to say that much. It's Jason Cundy. How are you, sir?
How are we?
Yeah.
I'm okay. Looking at Rory's ratings, I did have a dentist appointment this morning. Unfortunately, I had to cancel it because I've not been well.
No, you've
I'm
not.
looking for sympathy here.
Yeah, I know.
Right? No, I'm getting none. I'm fine and dandy. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you've got some coffee down you, though. And
I have
feeling all
indeed.
right,
Courtesy of Rory.
I know. Yeah, I've got a little oat milk coffee, is it? I don't
That's
know.
for
What
you,
got,
mate.
yeah?
You look like a hipster, so I thought I'd treat you like one and get you an oat milk flat white.
Thank you, mate. Right, a lot to go at today. I'm going to get straight into it here. There's so many hot topics. We've had to filter them down, if anything, but I know the Studs Up listeners are waiting keenly to see what we'll cover. And we're going to talk about your new gaffer. New gaffer, I will say. You were certain, Rory, that Chelsea would draw against Brentford. You certainly didn't think that Chelsea would win. Are you pleasantly surprised with that result on the weekend? Because, I mean, they're an informed side as well, by the way.
Yeah, and they're a bogey side of ours as well.
Yeah.
They're a very, very good team when they come to Stamford Bridge. It's a big game for them. I don't think anything that I said about Liam Rossini is incorrect, though. I don't believe that I'm wrong.
You're doubling down?
No. Doubling down already.
I'm
a minute and a half into the
I'll
show.
tell you what I'm not doing. I'm not going to reassess off the back of beating Brentford 2-0 at Stamford Bridge. It wasn't a particularly inspiring performance. It could have gone wrong. And ultimately, yeah, we beat Brentford. But that's not the job of Liam Rossini, is it? Like almost any football manager would beat Brentford at home if you're Chelsea's manager, right? Mm-hmm. The players at your disposal is so much better than the players at their disposal. I'd say that almost any manager, Marty Cifuentes at Stamford Bridge, would accrue 50 points at Chelsea, right? And
I don't know.
And therefore, you're going to pick up points against sides like Brentford. Everything, though, that I've seen coming out of the club at the moment, I'm finding really underwhelming. There was a protest at Stamford Bridge, which was pitiful, if we're totally honest.
Right.
It's not a happy place.
No.
And Liam Rossini is the public face of that.
He is, but I mean,
it's harsh.
It is harsh.
It's so harsh.
You
Every
alluded to this
manager's the
last
public.
week.
Yeah, it's so harsh that because look, I understand Rory knows exactly how a lot of the fans are feeling about Chelsea right now. However, it is what it is. By the way, Rory was nearly right because Brentford should have won that game. Right? They were good. They were really good. And we rode our luck. Couple of good saves from Sanchez. We took our chances when they came. The penalty, when you get that, take the 2-goal in, that broke their hearts, it broke their spirit.
Yeah.
But going back to the situation at the club, I think you're going to have to ease up a little bit on Liam because he is it's a position that a lot of managers in world football would absolutely love. And it's an expensively assembled squad, but it ain't a squad that's ready to just go straight in first home game and beat a side like Brentford. That's a big win.
It is
a big result. The result better than performance.
I think you're right, actually, Jason. I think I will concede.
What?
Whoa! Yeah.
What's going on here?
Wait a second. Let's not let
what's
that
in
go.
your coffee?
That's the first time ever. You should be proud of yourself, Jace.
What I'll concede is the point that Jason made there, saying that you've got to ease up on the manager. I think there is truth in that. I think now my responsibility is to pledge support, unilateral, aggressive support.
Gosh.
But not in terms of the project. I want Chelsea to win games of football. I don't support the project. Do you remember when Manchester United were doing that that thing, Love United, Hate Glazer?
Yeah.
And that was a legitimate thing. They could go to Old Trafford and they could want Manchester United to win games whilst not supporting the project.
Yeah.
That's pretty much where I sit at Stamford Bridge.
The bigger picture you're not on board with. But like I've said, it's going to get to a stage where you're going to back him. Because I was thinking about this last week and what you were saying about the manager. Surely, let's 10 wins in and a couple good press conferences. There's going to be a moment where you go, he's all right, this guy.
Let me just give you an example. I don't know this for a fact, but you know how in the same week we were playing Brentford and Arsenal. If anyone that knows Chelsea, anybody that has stood on a shed or sat in the benches or been going or watching or following the club for years will be of the opinion that if you're playing Brentford on a Saturday in the league and Arsenal in a semi-final, Arsenal is the big game. Yeah. Arsenal is the game that you need to win. You're playing Arsenal with Wembley at stake. Arsenal coming to Stamford Bridge in a semi, that's the game to win. Forget Brentford. Arsenal in a semi-final when you can't win the league. Of course that's the game. They didn't play Parma. And I know they're saying it's for this and that, but they all played against Brentford, didn't they? Which made me think that the ownership don't care about the League Cup. You make no money winning the League Cup. They don't care about the prestige of silverware. They do care about Champions League football.
Yeah.
And everything that I've been saying about Rossini kind of towing the party line.
You don't know that.
No, I don't, but I can put two and two quite often makes a Christmas cake.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. It does look like that, but this is unprecedented. We're coming off the back of a Club World Cup, and we're trying to manage minutes. Cole Palmer's clearly not fit. Clearly not fit. Casado had to come back. Reece, managing him and his hamstrings, this has been an ongoing project for the last 3 years. Yes, I hear you about playing your strongest side, but they weren't even on the bench. That tells you that they can't play this game, play this game. We have got another 4 massive months coming up. We've still got the return leg. We've got 2 Champions League games. We've got games, by the way, the next 2 league games, they are winnable. Palace away and then West Ham.
Yeah.
We can actually, really, this month, the end of the month can be strong.
Yeah.
Can be really strong. Still got the Palace game to play.
Yeah.
Still got West Ham in the league. And in between all that, this is the Champions League. So listen, it's a massive, massive month for Rossini. And he's had to deal with a lot of competitions. League Cup, Premier League, FA Cup, Champions League in his first 4 games. That's a lot to deal with.
Let me hold in on one specific fixture then before we move on from Chelsea. You gave Jason Cundy, maybe even as soon as last week, 0% chance that Chelsea would get through against Arsenal, and then you moved it to 1%. Do you still feel there's only a 1% chance Chelsea get past Arsenal in that leg?
We don't beat Arsenal.
You still don't think so?
And do you know part of the reason we don't? Jason's completely correct. I don't know the answer to this, but I don't feel like we desperately want to. I don't get the vibe that we're.
I was going to say, do you get that vibe, Jason? No.
Absolutely. Why? Based on what?
Based on the team. Based on the team that we played. Based on the team that played the other night. And I know that I'm drawing conclusions, but I'm listening to the words that Enzo Maresca said about being guided in his rotation
Can I
policy.
just say what's wrong with it? I don't understand the big. Tell me it's been going on since year dot. Players come back from injury. The medical staff speak to the manager. How many minutes has he got? How many times do we see over the course of the last 10, 15 years a manager take off a player's made his first start in weeks, comes off on 60 minutes. It's the mark.
But Maresca effectively told us that you've got sporting directors talking to the medical team about who should be fit and who shouldn't be.
No, not who's fit. Who is fit enough to play?
Who's fit enough to play? But then it gets very fluid, doesn't it? Because you've got Reece James not playing against Arsenal, but then playing against Brentford.
Right. Do you think there's a conspiracy there?
I think that they're prioritising the fixtures, and I think that they prioritise league fixtures over semi-finals against Arsenal, and that's why I say that I don't think that the ambition is there.
What if they all play against Arsenal in the second leg? Where will your stance be then?
We'll cross that imaginary bridge when we get there.
Right, Rory, you hear me mention at the top of every show, this is brought to you by TalkSport Bet. Have you had a chance to check them out yet?
Yeah, I have, mate. Yeah. And more importantly, I've checked out the welcome offer. It is actually ridiculous.
It really is. It really is. And I'll tell you guys exactly what that is. It is bet £10 and get £40 in free bets, not up to £40 in free bets, and you've just got to go to www.talksportbet.com/studs up, and we'll put the link in the description as well.
Mate, it's one of those. If you are betting anything this weekend, whatever you are thinking of doing, you basically have to do it this way. You bet a tenner, you get £40 free bets.
That's unreal. Well worth snapping up, and I'll tell you the URL again. It's talksportbet.com/studs up. 18 plus, obviously, and gamble responsibly. Now let's get back to the chaos.
They're all starting, by the way. They're all going to start.
Surely.
Oh, if they don't, then I'll bow down to your superiority. If you're not, if they're all fit and they don't start, then if they're on the bench, then I'll have that conversation with you.
Do you know, I cannot wait for that second leg, just purely based on the conversations you two have had over the past couple of weeks.
It would be just imagine though. Just imagine the world where we do knock them out of it.
Yeah, I know.
Imagine.
It'd be unbelievable.
It could derail this season.
Yeah, you gave it 1% chance.
It could derail this season.
That sounds like 5% to me.
I don't think it's going to happen.
Don't make me laugh.
But if it does happen, it could be huge.
Right, okay. Guys, I cannot not talk about this. A Panenka in the AFCON final, after all the chaos that ensued, after having the ball for so long and thinking about what you're going to do. I have never seen anything unravel the way that final unravelled. Let me get your initial thoughts on it. Jace, where does your mind go when you see that, when you see the chaos that ensued?
Well, it kind of was quite fitting, actually, when you think about what was going on before it.
Yeah.
And after, with the towels behind the goal and the way the whole final played out. A Panenka is a penalty that I personally, I would ban it. If I managed the team, I would ban it.
Did you ever give a Panenka?
Are you joking me?
a try in
Are
your
you
days?
joking me?
No.
It takes such. There's so many facets to that. One, you've got to get enough pace on it because just to chip a ball into a goal, you've almost got to try and get it just under the crossbar. Because if he does stay on his feet somehow, if it's too low and you go that way, you've still got a chance. For me, I'd ban it.
Also, what I don't understand, if it works, people, you get some credit. It can have an impact. Andrea Pirlo against England, obviously, but if it fails, it goes down in history. It's not worth the payoff.
It's not worth the risk.
It's not worth the risk.
Agreed.
Like, do you know how bad a penalty has to be for people to legitimately have a conversation and go, "Did he miss it on purpose?"
Yeah.
Like, that's what people were saying.
But here's the thing:
And
you could have saved it.
Yeah.
Right, that's how crazy it is. No, seriously.
Are you having?
Is that
you saying that because I'm 5'5"?
I'm just. You're the first person I thought.
Yeah, you're the smallest person I know, and you could have saved it.
But you could have saved it. But going back to that Pirlo one against England,
Yeah.
did you hear the quotes he said about Joe Hart? He watched Joe Hart, and he said Joe Hart was so pumped
Yeah.
on the goal line.
He knew he was going.
He
He
knew
was
he was
going.
going to dive. So he knew. And that's experience.
Yeah,
that's you're talking about Pirlo,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You're talking about different
Rolls
levels.
Royce.
But you're a Rizzler paper away from getting it so wrong. Think about Zidane. Obviously, Zidane scored.
But if
But my God.
but if Zidane's hitting the crossbar, why are you trying it in the final?
Also, people were actually saying maybe he missed it on purpose.
I know.
I've never ever known a penalty to be so poorly taken that you can legitimately say, I don't.
Let me ask
think
you
he-
this.
I think he wanted to
Let me
score.
ask you both this. If you want to miss a penalty delivery, what are you doing?
Over the bar.
Right, boot it to the
Over
corner
the
flag, right?
bar.
True.
Right?
Yeah.
True.
You
Yeah.
ain't doing that.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's such a good point.
Yeah. Because he kissed the ball as well. Do you see his walk up and he kissed the
Yeah.
ball? It's like you don't kiss the ball and then miss on purpose.
And he's a good player.
Yeah,
and
he
he
is a
had
good
a good
player.
tournament, by the way. Absolute chaos. I had to quickly touch on that. Now we've spoken about we've had Enzo Maresca and Amarin speak out against the board during this studs up tenure. Oliver Glasner did the same, and in my opinion, I don't think anyone's gone as balls out as Glasner did by abandoned. They've abandoned me, things like
He's
this.
abandoned them.
I don't, go on. I don't know.
Glasner sold them out.
But do you not? Huh?
Glasner has sold them out. Of course he has.
Wow.
Because what does he really want them to do? Mark Gahey's going to leave in the summer.
Yeah.
They could have sold him. They could have sold him 6 months ago for 65 million quid. They now can get 20. So they've already lost 2/3 of what they could have got. Crystal Palace, by the way. Crystal Palace have sold players from day dot. Ian Wright. Kenny Sampson was there, wasn't it?
of course.
Loads of players. Johnson, like so many players.
Yeah.
Leave Palace.
But then how has
then
Glasner sold them out? I don't get that. But because surely, again, I have this such a bugbear about people being honest in press conferences and everyone scathing them for it. He's getting his best players sold and he's a bit moody about it. Like, I don't mind that. I can understand why the board would think, well, he's speaking out against us, and I know you've done that point before.
He's left Palace.
What, you think he's trying to get the sack?
No, he wants the sack.
It's the
wants
most
to sack.
unprofessional way to go
It's
about
not unprofessional. He's looking after football as a. Let's see, fans have this utopia about how players should be and managers should be. It's how club and it's just a job to him. It's just a job, and he said abandoned. I agree with Rory. He's not abandoned. They bought Brennan Johnson for £35 million, by the way. It's
not correct. I mean,
that's not
okay.
being abandoned. However, when he spoke to them in October, everyone knew, all cards were on the table. Steve Parish, Mark Bright, Oliver Glasner, they all knew the situation, right? And he felt what was best for him, Glasner, that I'm going to announce this now to the world, right? They didn't know he was going to do it. He's now dropped this promise down. Why? Because he's looking after number one. Because when he leaves in 4 months' time, he's only interested in what's best for me, Glasner. Crystal Palace can go and do what they need to do. And I don't have a problem with him doing it. Because let me tell you now, as soon as a manager lets the club down, they're gone. They're sacked. So all he's doing, it's self-preservation. He's looking after number one. And knowing football the way it is, the industry, I've worked in it, I don't have a problem with it. All he's doing is looking after number one.
Jason is completely correct. But I come from a fan perspective. Jay's played the game, right?
Yeah.
If I were a Palace fan, I'd want him out of the club.
Would you?
Yeah.
But I know a lot of
100%.
Palace fans that see his point because they're a side that have won a trophy for the first time in most Palace fans' lifetime, and they don't feel like he's been significantly backed. In fact, they think it's gone the other way, where they've sold some of their best players.
They're Crystal Palace. They're gonna when he
but
signs
they're
up.
Crystal Palace. That's so. I mean, that is.
Can I just say on
When
that,
he
right?
signs up for the job, he has
Can I
parameters.
just say,
that
though?
exist.
Yeah, but he's won them a trophy.
But
Surely
Mark
he can raise the parameters.
Mark Gahey's leaving in the summer no matter what.
Yeah.
He can't come out right now and criticise that because 20 million is better now, whatever it was, than nothing in the summer. They ain't going to. They're out. Their league form has gone.
Yeah.
They're not going to win the Conference
No, they're
League.
struggling in Europe.
They're not. And right now they've made it. And I don't blame Parish or Bright for doing what they've done, selling Mark Gay. Had they still been if they were sixth, right, and they were closing in on top in the group and doing all they're doing, still in the Carabao Cup, still doing all those things, Glasner would have a point. Truth is, they're not. Their season in the back end of last year has completely tailed off. This year, they haven't won a game since the 11th of December.
Yeah, they're on a bad run.
They are terrible. And that decision has been based on those run of results and where they are. And they've made a financial executive decision, and I don't blame them. I also don't blame Glasner for saying what he said.
Oh, fair. Interesting. Do you
I blame
think...
Glasner
They're
massively.
all looking after number one. They all are.
Yeah.
Brighton and Parish look after Palace. Glasner's now saying, right, you've made that call. I now see this. I can use this to my advantage. Truth is, I don't see how he can use it. But he's saying, right, I'm available in the summer.
The
Man
language,
United job,
the
maybe up.
language. When he was talking about having his heart ripped out.
Yeah, but maybe he feels that way.
Do you know you like that kind of emotional talk? When you're a manager of a football club, and I was talking about Oliver Glasner as being like one of the best managers in the league. I was talking about him being the next Bayern Munich manager, in line for the Real Madrid job, in line for the Man United job. And then you see this kind of emotional rant, and I suddenly think he isn't that anymore. He isn't that guy.
You think that's devalued him a
It
bit?
has, in my opinion. Like, with Ruben Amorim, I haven't rated Ruben Amorim for ages.
Yeah.
But you know when I really didn't rate him? When he started crying in the press conference.
Right.
When he started crying and blaming people and like ranting and whatever else. Like, when you are a manager of that stature, you have to be the governor. You have to be ready to swallow things that you don't want to swallow. You have to be ready to take some flack that you can't take. And ultimately, the buck stops with you.
Football never changes. It's all
Crying.
about
He's
results.
emotional.
Look, Jose Mourinho done all sorts, trying to gouge out eyes, would fall out a referee, try and chase a referee in a car park. He'll get a job, why? Because he gets results.
Yeah.
That's what it's about. There are no morals in football. Don't kid yourself as fans. There are no morals.
Yeah.
And I don't care what a manager has said. Look at the way some players behave. Look at some. He ain't going to get a club again. Oh yes, he will. Oh yes, he will.
Yeah,
because
Jadon
why?
Sancho,
Because
whatever,
he will put the ball in the back of the net. He'll give you 10 assists and he'll give you 18 goals a season.
Fickle, isn't it? It's a fickle sport.
It's
not
not morals.
Do
Yeah,
you
we
know
know that.
what, Ryan? Do you find, obviously we're very lucky, Jay played the game, right?
Yeah.
You know when you're fans and you're used to talking to fans, like my mates, my WhatsApp group, the pub, everything that Rafael Benitez said, a quote once that I found really offensive. Rafael Benitez said, basically said, football is a lie. That was the quote. Football is a lie. Rivalry is a lie. Tribalism is a lie. Everything within the game, if you're in the game, it's all a lie. It's all kind of built on smoke. And I found it very offensive. I was like, no. There is a principle to the club. there is a foundation to being a Chelsea fan. There is a hallmark that goes with, and there isn't a lie. There is a principle. And you're a charlatan if you think that.
Yeah.
And then the more and more, I'm very fortunate. I get to talk to people like Jason who played the game. Obviously, speak to O'Hara who played the game. You suddenly go, was Rafael Benitez's point about football being a lie accurate?
Yeah. And
I think on the
bigger
terrace,
picture, isn't there?
on the terraces, it's not a lie.
No, of
As a
course
fan,
not.
it's not. But when you know the financial side of football and how it's done and how it deals with inside, it's everyone's protecting themselves.
Yeah.
And when it falls apart, the managers can go on this lovely journey with the club. But as soon as things fall out, our club, let me tell you, Jose Mourinho is the perfect example of that. How he was winning things, winning back-to-back Premier Leagues, right? And all of a sudden, when things started to go wrong, all of that rift becomes wider and wider. And that's how football works. When you're winning games, everything's fine. When you're not, things go sour. And there are very few clubs that go sour if the results aren't sour before it.
Yeah.
And I'm going to use, there's a couple of examples now, Spurs and Liverpool,
Yeah.
right? Your club,
Yeah.
right? Chelsea. Our December was terrible.
Yeah.
Why? There was no talk of Maresca getting the sack when we beat Barcelona and drew with Arsenal going into December, right?
Yeah, he won manager of the month.
Right? So think of
So
that.
did Amorim.
Right? Right? Think of that.
Yeah.
It's all about results.
God, he got deep there, but that is so interesting. That was an interesting couple of minutes. And do you know what? We're talking about the bigger picture there. The bigger picture is why I was extremely upset about Manchester United and the current situation that they had. But Michael Carrick comes in, and in his first game, absolutely thumped City. To the point where there is absolutely no way that I saw that coming. But the individual performances as well from every player on that pitch.
Yeah.
What is going on here? I detect a bit of jealousy here, Jace.
I'll tell you why, right?
You wish you could do that to City.
I'll tell you why.
Go
right?
on.
I'll tell you why. Because you've done that all season to big teams.
Not like that.
No, not like. But you beat Chelsea. Right?
Yeah.
Right. Everyone
Red
good,
card.
Right.
Good result
Right?
against
Yeah,
them.
but
No,
it's red card.
what I'm saying is, right, it's all well and good. You wait. It's one performance.
No,
right?
no,
What,
look.
no, it's one. No, honestly, Ryan.
I know.
It's one performance, right? And against a City side that drawn their last 3, maybe
Yeah.
4. Anyway, they hadn't won for ages, right? But honestly, well done. A pat on the back. Okay?
Thank you.
No, but you won a Manchester derby. That's not been Manchester United's problem. In fact, historically, since Sir Alex left, the big games, you turned up at Anfield and beat them.
Yeah, that was the other one. That was the
right?
other
What
one.
happened to Grimsby?
Yeah, I know, but that was
Right?
Ruben Amorim. I'm talking about Michael Carrick now. I'm
no,
talking about, look, well, listen. First of all, let me have it, will ya? Okay, it was an unbelievable weekend. It was. Come on, Jace, let me have
No,
that.
it was. But I felt you going on a ramp. I thought I'd just have to stop you,
You
just
just-
before you get a little
early
bit
intervention.
before you get a bit too carried away.
You know me too well. Look, it was an unbelievable performance. I say the individuals were amazing. Who'd have thought Kobe Mainoo was fantastic in that midfield? Who'd have bloody thought it? He was absolutely sensational. Bruno back in the 10. By the way, I don't know if you got a
Sorry,
chance.
didn't Kobe made a play against Brighton the week before?
Yeah, but come on, ring
No,
rust.
I'm just-
yeah,
I'm
but
just-
there's ring
I'm
rust,
just
isn't
asking
there?
you questions.
You gotta let him warm up.
All of your
Jace.
support about for Ruben Amorim now. Amorim must look a right dunce.
Well,
It's a simple game sometimes, isn't it? Simple game.
It
you
is.
You play Bruno Fernandes in an attacking position and he dictates the tempo of the game. Who'd have thought it?
yeah,
Ruben.
I know.
You bring Kobe Mainoo in, one of the best players at the club the previous season. You play players in their right position, and ultimately you put in the best performance that you've put in for about 10 years.
Yeah, I know, and that was in the cons aisle for Amorim. The fact that Mainoo wasn't getting a start, the fact that, well, to be honest, I've thought a bit more about this. Manchester United signed 2 10s for this system, and he wanted to keep Bruno in it. So I don't know exactly how much of that
Michael
was
Carrick
Amorim.
drops Cunha.
Yeah, perfect, fair enough. Like, I concede to that. But yeah, Amorim was rubbish by the end of his tenure. We can look back at it now. Now that we have a stop, we can look back. But I had to back him. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm going to just have to say.
Oh gosh,
No,
Jace.
no, but when you employed him, you knew what you were getting into bed with.
Yeah,
He was a
agreed.
free at the back merchant.
Yeah.
So don't then turn around 6 months later saying, play 4. No.
No, I agree.
This is who you've employed.
I agree. I'm so with you on that. I don't necessarily think it's Amorim's fault. And like I say, there was a 3-year plan for a reason, and he didn't get all the players he wanted to get. And there's no doubt he didn't want to join halfway through the season because he looked at the squad and said, "Can't play my system."
Parachute him in.
Yeah, absolutely.
He didn't want to join.
But like, that's the Amorim side. But Michael Carrick comes in, he does an absolutely unbelievable performance. But my question, right, is the bigger picture here, which we've talked about before. I think Manchester United should be getting the best in class, and I also think the only reason why, still as a Man United fan, that Michael Carrick got the job is because he played for Manchester United. You can't tell me finishing 10th for Middlesbrough and getting the sack is the right credentials. So what is Manchester United should be getting the best in class? Let's say right now Michael Carrick has an unbelievable storming run, Champions League football to the end of the season, right? You're going to tell me, I can tell by the look in your eyes, you should give him the job, aren't you? Right. And there'll be a lot of Man United fans that might feel the same way. Let's say they don't, though. Let's say they've got it in their mind now. Michael Carrick should not get the job. We're going to bring in a world-class manager. That world-class manager doesn't win in his first 3. Oh my gosh, it's going to be civil war now in the Manchester United fan base because they'd have said, you should have given Carrick the job.
There is a caveat to what I think.
Go on.
If it goes really well for Michael Carrick, and I like Carrick, I rate him. I want it to work for him on some level as well.
No,
I
you
like.
don't. No,
Carrick.
you don't.
I don't want Manchester United to succeed, but I like Carrick. I
Always makes me
do.
laugh when fans say
I
that.
do.
I like to see him do well. No,
I
you
like,
don't.
like to see Manchester
I like
United do
Carrick. I do. I don't want to see Man United succeed, but I do like Michael Carrick. What I don't want it to be is this. I don't think that there should be a world where Michael Carrick is just completely forbidden from getting the job, regardless of how well he does, because it didn't work for Solskjaer. That's mental to me. If Michael Carrick wins 70% of the games, gets Manchester United to finish 4th in the league, and takes him into the Champions League, there's no reason why he shouldn't, at the very least, be considered. Now, I would hold my hands up. This isn't going to happen, but say you could get the best manager in the world at the moment is Luis Enrique, right?
Okay, yeah.
So say, for example, Luis Enrique was going to go to United. Obviously, then Michael Carrick has to fall on his sword. But if you're looking at the rung below, if you're looking at the Glasners, if you're looking at the Iraolas, if you're
Would you take Unai Emery over Carrick?
depends how well he does. Unai Emery's conduct, you know how we spoke earlier about Glasner? Unai Emery gobbing off in the press hasn't necessarily inspired me about him either. I think whatever happened to the strong silent type like me? I'm serious. I'm serious. Whatever happened to Gary Cooper, which is me? Whatever happened to just being stoic, stiff upper lip English geezer?
Yeah.
I'm the only one left. Everyone's crying histrionics in the press. Everyone's moaning. Everyone's talking about open heart surgery, and everyone's talking about having his heart ripped out. All this drama and histrionic. Just get on with your job. You're in one of the best jobs in the world. Just get on with it. Do it to the best of your ability. And frankly, shut up.
I think the problem United have got is that the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer situation, that
Muddied the water a bit.
Well, I felt at the time they gave him till the end of the season, and in fact they didn't. If you remember, they gave him a contract before the end of the season. They beat PSG away in the Champions League, right?
Yeah.
And from that result onwards, their season tailspinned, and it was really bang average. I think what they should do, they find themselves in a situation. Everyone's got to accept it. Give Carrick to the end of the season, and then examine everything that he's done. Everything he's done, because sometimes you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. If he goes on and gets Champions League football, which you won't, by the way. You won't.
You don't think so?
No chance.
Even if it's five places?
Absolutely. No chance.
Who finishes above United?
Well, they're 4 better than you right now. So there's one spot. They're all fighting. There's that one spot everyone's fighting for.
Yeah.
Right? Then you have to evaluate that. Then you have to make a decision, because Carrick will probably demand a 3-year contract. And if they make the offer to him, you can't give him an 18-month contract. You can't give him a 2-year contract or a year's contract.
No.
You can't give him that role, because that offers no stability either.
Yeah. And then do you back him in the summer?
Here's the thing. We've got to wait and see exactly how this plays out. What do Man United look like? Because I still think the decision will be quite simple. I think he'll be getting a new manager in.
Yeah, I do
don't
too.
see Carrick doing the job we're talking about that's going to give him enough kudos for someone at the club to go, he's the man, 3-year deal. I don't see that.
My argument is this. If he takes Manchester United into the Champions League, he deserves to be considered. Football should be a meritocracy. He will have done what he's employed to do. And
Deserves
this kind
to
of
be considered.
This
Yeah,
kind
that's
of
fine.
This
That's
kind of
fine.
carte blanche, we made a mistake with Solskjaer giving it to the interim, so we can't possibly make a mistake with Wait, they're different people at different times with different squads and different abilities. Like, you're allowed to. When people go, well, you have to persevere with the manager because Arsenal persevered with Arteta, and look how well it's gone. Yeah, but some managers deserve to be sacked as well.
Yeah.
Graham Potter should have been sacked at Chelsea. That was a right decision.
Yeah.
It's a totally different situation. And if Michael Carrick does well at United, I would understand, regardless of how well he does, if you're going to get the Luis Enrique type, which you're not, but if you were, yeah, sack him.
There must be something in the water, because I'm finding myself agreeing with you now that he does deserve to be considered.
Because I'm very wise.
Let me ask you both this question, right? Michael Carrick has got 1 game a week for the rest of the season. Michael Carrick gets Champions League football.
Is it that much of a good achievement? Is that what you're saying?
Well, no, what I'm saying is next year, has Michael Carrick dealt with Champions League, Carabao Cup? You've been knocked out of both domestic cups. You weren't even good enough to qualify. So there is the amount of games that are going to come thick and fast. Managing a squad, that's a level again. He's got, what a wonderful opportunity for him. And if he does well, good luck to him. But next season, if you get champion or European football for that matter, Thursday, Sunday, you try that bad boy.
Yeah.
Because a lot of good managers, big teams have struggled with that.
Jace, do you think, regardless of how well it goes, he should be moved on? Not sacked, he should just be moved on.
You used it in the conversation.
Right, okay.
And
fair.
depends who's available and what the options are.
Yeah.
Because if the options, the pool of managers are smaller than...
Yeah, if it's him versus Iraola versus Glasner, then why not him?
Right, well...
Unai
Emery, I mean, there are other managers. What I'm saying is, if there's a pool of managers that you can talk at and go, right, dealt with Champions League football, won major honours, done this, been at a big club against Carrick, I'm sorry.
There is something to be said, though. There is something to be said for Carrick. Say Tuchel were to be available.
Which he will be, by the way, almost certainly.
So say they could get Tuchel. Tuchel's a great manager, but he's also a spiky manager.
Yeah, I don't think
he's also
United, personally.
and if you look at his,
I don't think
if you look at the jobs that he's done,
got sacked for.
Every job that he does, it gets less and less time. So however long he spent at Dortmund, he spent less time at Chelsea. However long he spent at Chelsea, he spent less time at Bayern Munich. It's however long he spent at PSG, it gets his
Carrick.
Yeah, obviously Tuchel, but I don't think he's a Manchester United manager. Personally,
Tuchel's a better manager, of course, but it doesn't mean he's a better fit.
You
for
got
a
to look
certain
for
club.
that's what the job interview process is for, isn't it?
So
You're qualifying Tuchel, and you're saying
both taking stupid pills.
What?
No, seriously.
Why?
What are you telling me? If Carrick's on the table and Tuchel, it's a straight choice.
No, Tuchel's dangerous. I think they've done Tuchel.
Tuchel's a better manager.
Do you know what?
Tuchel's a better manager, but
manager.
Tuchel's dangerous.
Man United need Tuchel. They need that manager. They need that.
If they allow
character.
him, if they allow him to be himself. But this is where the
what's
problem
Thomas
lies.
Tuchel going to say to Jason Wilcox on day one? What's Thomas Tuchel going to say to Omar Barada on day one?
If you're asking me what Man United need right now, out of the two, if it comes down, Carrick's got Champions League football and Tuchel comes available, I can't believe the conversation has even taken place.
Well, one's a yes man and one isn't. That's where we are.
You could see.
Personally, that's what I think Man United need. They need Tuchel.
But
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, but if you bet Tuchel, that's fine. But then you have to give up on this project. You have to give up on the Barada Wilcox thing.
What is the project? What is it? It's not
Tuchel is
at
going to
Chelsea,
give
so.
them the V sign on day
But it's not
dot.
the
isn't
Chelsea
it?
project, is it? It's not going young
No,
players.
no.
They're buying off the shelf players. They're buying Mbuemo. They're buying Cunha. They got Fernandez.
But you
You know,
heard-
this is not the football.
We
club.
heard what Amorim said about Jason Wilcox. I know he didn't name Wilcox, but it was
They
Wilcox.
disagreed
wasn't it?
on the shape. There's a lot of things they disagreed on.
Do you think
right?
Tuchel would allow
Tuchel
Jason
will do
Wilcox?
both.
Do you think Tuchel would allow Jason Wilcox to have
No.
a say on shape?
Absolutely not.
Well, here's the thing about Wilcox, right? Wilcox kept his mouth shut for long enough.
Yeah, that's
Right?
true.
He
That's
kept
also, that
his
is
mouth.
also true.
He
Yeah,
kept
yeah.
his mouth shut. If that conversation took place, and everyone said it.
We think. We don't know
Oh no,
that.
but it seemed to fall
Yeah,
apart at the
it-
seams later
yeah.
on, right?
Yeah.
He was a three at the back merchant for what is it, 18 months?
Yeah.
So that conversation didn't take place after the first 3, 5, 6
yeah.
year. And that when it eventually took place, it sounds like everyone, including us, by the way, thought this can't
Finally.
carry on at the 5 at the back, 3 at the back, and that conversation took
Also,
place.
you don't know how politely he's done it. He might have gone, look, Ruben. You know, Ruben, mate.
Help me
You know,
out.
yeah. Like, you know,
Right.
your job is to kind of just be a little bit flexible, a little bit pragmatic. You know, we love you.
Yeah,
but
maybe.
just a little bit flexibility.
You might be right. Hey, listen, we could go all day on that one by the sounds of things. What I'll say, though, is obviously, I'm sure everybody watched the game, or at least the highlights. United could have won that game by 5 or 6, and a couple of goals disallowed, crashed the post, loads of chances, big chances. And it's led to this question that's a level above everything. Is the Premier League... Right, everyone says anyone could beat anyone, and it's the best league to watch. Is that because the Premier League is really good, or because it's really bad? I don't know if either of you have...
Football is not about the Premier League. Football generally, in my opinion, isn't great at the moment.
But what about the Premier League itself? The teams in there, the quality, the players.
It's the best league around, but primarily the best league because it's got the most amount of money swilling about in it. Like the amount of money sloshing about the Premier League is what makes it the dominant league in Europe, and therefore it has the most quality. But I don't think it's a particularly good Premier League at the moment.
Is it the best league in the world, Jace? Is it
So
the best league in the
I
world?
go back, if I went back 15 years ago, I thought what was on show as a viewer, and it doesn't matter who you support, the Premier League as a product, as a brand, was far more entertaining. And I go back, and I had this show with Jamie on SportsBar, and I'm going to go back as far as I possibly can. Matt Letizia, right, as far back I'll go.
Absolute
I'm going to go
beautiful
Bergkamp. I'm going to go Thierry Henry.
Yeah.
I'm going to go...
Pires, Zola,
Pires, Zola,
yeah.
Hazard, Bale, Ronaldo, Rooney.
Robin, Duff, like the list
Where
goes
are
on and
these
on.
players?
Dimitar
Like Chelsea
Berbatov.
players, mate.
No,
Dimitar
no,
Berbatov. like,
Ronaldo's
yeah.
in there and Rooney
All right,
before you
fine,
start
yeah.
getting titchy.
Okay, yeah.
But the point I'm making is, I think that what has happened, and I think Pep has taken a huge amount of credit. I think Pep needs to have a look at himself the way that he's gone about things, because teams now are forced, because they can't go toe to toe with City. They have to try and beat them in a different way. That's why the long balls come into play. Pep is to blame. Pep is to blame, because if you can't keep the ball off them, you can't pass through them, you've got to go over them.
Yeah.
Wrong way to do it, right? Go for a walk in the woods, right?
Yeah.
Can't go under it, can't go through it, got to go over it, right? No, that's it. So we've got to go over it. That's why you're seeing teams like Brentford, thrive, because they found another way. And Arsenal right now, Arteta, he's got the best formula of trying to play football. But actually, if you think about the way they play, they're not an Arsenal under Wenger.
No.
They are nowhere near that. Liverpool under Slot. Klopp, just 3 years ago, the best Liverpool side I've seen in the Premier League. That's why Semenyo's going for so much money. There aren't these mavericks. There are these players that take players on. Doku is a rare one. Esteval's a rare one. I mean, how many can we name in the Premier League now?
What, Mavericks?
No, that
Maverick footballers.
Bruno Fernandes,
that take players,
1,000,000%.
that take players on. No, that are brave in possession. That don't go.
But do you know-
can't go forward. I'll go back.
Do you know what I think part of the problem is as well? I think managers, like you know when obviously I was going to Chelsea a lot, Lampard would pick the ball up and he'd drop a shoulder from 35 yards and he'd hit one invariably, because it was Lampard and he was the best we've ever had. He would hit the back of the net. But if it didn't, if it hit the bar, you get a standing ovation from both the manager and the fans. If you do that now, I think your manager will sub you. Go, mate, you're giving possession away.
Yeah, I see what you
It's
mean.
not. And do you know when Jason just spoke then about the managers? You mentioned Klopp, and I suddenly thought the players we can focus on, but it's kind of about the managers, or it's a representation of the managers. Like there was a time when Antonio Conte and Jose Mourinho landed in the Premier League at the same time, into a Premier League that already had Jurgen Klopp and Pep Guardiola. icon after icon. Like Rafael Benitez landed in the Premier League first time round, the same week or a couple of weeks between him and Mourinho landing. Like the best that was on offer was kind of here. And maybe that's still the case, but I love the Mavericks.
Yeah.
And Jason and I were having a chat off air. We brought up Italian football just as a representation. All my life, I've had like a romanticism around Italy and Italian football. I loved it when I was a kid, like the show on Channel 4. And you used to think about all of those players, like Beppe Signori, Francesco Totti, Alessandro Del Piero, Gianfranco Zola. There was always that diminutive, amazing, maverick 1970s throwback footballer, that Italian. It's Scamacca.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like, what's gone wrong?
Here's another thing. Managers have changed. The game has changed. We are now looking at defensive units.
Yeah.
Right? And there is so much money in the game that every league position counts for £5 or £6 million, or a huge amount of money. And I think that there is a fear of overcommitting now. The best side I've seen in Europe is PSG over the last 2 years, right?
Yeah.
Kvaratskhelia, you got Doué. You've got, who's down the middle? Is it?
Ousmane Dembele.
Dembele, right? You got those three, right? They will play off the cuff and they'll get them forward, get the ball into the midfield and spread the ball wide. And I think globally, in this World Cup that we're coming up, it'll be really fascinating to see who are those players, who are the ones that we're talking about, those number 10s that get a yard of space and can find a ball that no one else in the ground sees.
I don't know if they exist anymore though. Like you think about the Ballon d'Or. Rodri won, and Rodri's great at what he does. But he's a great system footballer. He's a system player. Like, we weren't ever giving out Ballon d'Ors to Michael Essien. We weren't giving out Ballon d'Ors to Claude Makelele. And suddenly that system footballer has become the best footballer in the world.
It's a really good point, that. And that kind of really sums it up very well, because the best players are the ones who used to get you off your seat.
Yeah.
Now the best player's been given it because he controls the tempo of the
game. Jorginho.
And he ain't a Pirlo.
No.
He ain't a Pirlo.
No. Agreed. You know what? Well, that's a nice way to go into this our Studs Up Hacker preview, because let's see who stands up to be counted. We did it last week. I think 2 out of the 3 fixtures on the table came in. I believe you went Manchester City. I went Chelsea. And who did you go, Rory?
Got it right.
You got
West
it right.
Ham.
You went West
all
Ham
that
against Spurs.
all that Tottenham chat, and I went West Ham and beat them.
Unbelievable. So let's see who the Mavericks are in this weekend's Premier League, and who stands up to be counted. So I've been given Bournemouth versus Liverpool, which I think is a really, really tough game. Liverpool obviously held by Burnley. Slot on the ropes once again. He's rope-a-dope and he's got his hands up. We've talked on this show about how he's on borrowed time potentially as well. We've talked about their league title last season, how everyone let them peel away. As of right now, oh my gosh, this is so difficult. I'm going to say Liverpool don't win this away, but I'm not. I'm going to go Bournemouth win, you know.
Jesus.
I'm going to go for draw, didn't you?
I nearly, but I feel like they're in an absolute slump, and I know that when Wirtz is pulling you out, when Wirtz is grabbing you by the scruff of the neck, who wasn't performing, now all of a sudden he's having to stand up to be counted. We talked about Mavericks. All of a sudden, it's his goal contributions that are getting them over the line. I don't think they're going to have enough this weekend. I'm going to go for a Bournemouth win. I'm going to say Bournemouth beat Liverpool.
I'd have gone draw on that one.
And I don't think that's controversial, though.
No, I don't think it's controversial.
I think Liverpool win them. Win that game. Yeah. I think Liverpool win.
But
them,
what evidence are you having to
nothing.
support
Just
that?
the institution.
Yeah, exactly. That's where
It's just the institution. Yeah.
I'm not letting him charm me no
Live a
more.
bird on my chest and all that. Yeah.
I've got a good record this season, so I'm going to go Bournemouth beat Liverpool. As we move on to they've given you Chelsea.
Yeah,
Jay,
that's
that's
the
nice.
easiest
Fair,
fixture
you
of
know.
the weekend.
Palace versus Chelsea.
Yeah,
you think?
maybe
Palace have pressed
who's
Chelsea
decided
shot
that? Because it feels like it's been quite fair. If there's one team right now you want to play, and it's not Wolves, by the way, they steady on the Rob Evans.
I don't really want West Ham either right now. Off that.
Now, Palace, they are in a tailspin and going nowhere fast. Yeah. We just spoke about it earlier in the show about Glasner. I don't know what's going on. They've lost Guerhi. Who knows what's going on?
They're talking about as well.
You know, it's an unsettled, and the window's still very much open, of course. I kind of go for a Chelsea win. I'm going to go goal in each half. Chelsea to win 2-0.
Oh, yeah.
It feels quite a simple one, that for me, right here, right now.
Yeah, it's the best fixture you could have got, actually.
I'm going 2-1 Bournemouth for the record. Okay, and you've gone 2-0 Chelsea.
Yeah.
So let's move on to the cracker of the weekend, and probably the hardest to call, because new manager bounce is essentially the other manager can't read what kind of style of play the new manager is going to play. That, you know, there is a logic to it, and it's Arsenal versus United. They've given you Rory here. Carrick, how much homework can they do on him on this version of United, and how do you think it's going to go?
I think Man United are going to beat them.
Do ya? Oh,
I think Man
wow.
United are going to have blown the title race wide open. I honestly think Manchester United.
Are you manifesting this to be true? Or do you actually think
Yeah,
this is
no,
gonna
I
happen?
100% want it to be
I
true.
hope he's right.
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
exactly.
I 100% am believing and hoping, and I want this to be the case. But you know, when you're talking about teams that you wouldn't want to play this weekend, Manchester United have to be right up there as well.
Yeah, probably.
You don't want to play
And
United.
also, it's a big game, and United, as we discussed, they can turn up for them.
They get up for them, don't they?
Had it been Wolves away, you're going,
Imagine
not
Bruno.
sure.
Just think about what Arsenal are looking like at the moment. Still the best team in the country, still top of the league. They've got a cushion, but there is an anxiety around Arsenal that I don't understand.
no, it's years.
There's an
isn't it?
anxiety that has
It's
been built up
it's
over
decades,
decades. Yeah.
decades, yeah.
Like, do you know, if you talk to an Arsenal fan, they go away to City. They go away to Nottingham, the City ground. They extend the lead. They don't lose. Not a bad result. If that was Chelsea under Mourinho's second season, you'd be happy with that. Get a point, clean sheet. You extend the lead over your rivals. Another game off the table. Job done.
Yeah.
Their fans. I was live after that game on TalkSport. Their fans were ringing me up, livid, and I can excuse a bit of anxiety. I get the anxiety. But I don't get the anger.
No, I
I think that can seep into the club. I think that it's the first time I've ever looked at them.
Arsenal are winning this title, even if
I think they probably are winning. No,
this
I agree.
title.
I think Arsenal are winning the league.
But if Man United win and City win,
I don't
it's
think
3
City
points.
can. I don't think City can put anything together.
They've
4 points.
they're just not good.
City will
They're
beat
just-
Arsenal at
they're
the
just
Etihad
not
though.
good.
That's still.
We saw that.
It could get nervy.
Might get nervy, but
This weekend is big, you know. It's big.
I think Arsenal lose. I think Manchester United beat them.
Give me a score then. What do you think?
3-2 to Manchester United.
Oh, it's gone for a ding
goal
dong.
of the season, game of the season.
Game
Sorry,
of the
game of the
Game of the
season.
season. You've heard it
Game
here
of the
first.
season.
So we've gone for a Liverpool 2-1 win. We've gone Chelsea to beat Palace 2-0 and Manchester United to beat Arsenal 3-2. The Studs Up Acca will be available on site and on the app as well. So obviously heading over there, keep your eyes peeled for that. And for new customers, heading over to talksportbet.com/studsup as well. You can get a nice little welcome offer there. So please keep your eyes peeled for it and enjoy the weekend of football. We'll keep a close eye on it. Now, boys, I've given us, home of the Mount Rushmore. You know how we do it.
Mm-hmm.
I've given us a few minutes to discuss going into this Premier League weekend, the biggest fixture, a combined Arsenal and Manchester United Mount Rushmore ever.
I've done this in my head immediately.
Or shall I do Premier League? Will that derail your argument?
No, Premier League
No,
works.
Premier League.
Premier
I know-
League
I know
works.
that- I know
Premier League
that
works.
The football existed when I played back in,
Back
old
in the
First Division,
1800s.
right?
Yeah.
But are we going 2-2?
No, it could
No,
be
it could-
4-0.
it could be
4-0.
4-0. Could be
Yeah.
4-0.
Well,
Yeah.
that doesn't even seem fair.
I don't know.
Bang, bang,
Right.
bang.
There's one Arsenal
bang.
name that's got to go on there.
I've got it. I've done it.
Go on.
I've done it.
Let's hear your shout.
Should we all do our own, or do we have to come together?
We have to come
Right
together.
now.
Those we have to come together. So
I think there are two that everyone's going to agree on. So maybe we just put those two on the table.
Go on.
Okay, I'll
Put
give
'em
you
out.
two names that
Go
just
on.
have to be on.
put them out there.
Wayne Rooney as the best Premier League player of all time is on. Thierry Henry as the most beautiful Premier League footballer of all time is on. So those
Appearance,
two are
physically beautiful, or you talking about
aesthetically pleasing footballer.
Okay, so first of all, Rooney, the best Premier League player of all time. That's gonna you're shaking your head already.
Thierry Henry, I'm going to give that. Thierry Henry's it was better than Wayne Rooney.
Best. Ooh.
Yeah, might be.
It's a good debate though.
I'm going to go, if I've got one of each, right here, right now, I'm going Thierry Henry and Eric Cantona.
See, Rooney doesn't even make those.
Well, they're my first two.
Those are your first
They're
two.
my first two. And the reason I've got Cantona is because he was actually one of the reasons, if not the main reason, they won
Man
that
United
first
kicked
title
on. Yeah.
back in
It's not only
1993.
that, I saw an amazing stat about Cantona. I think he won the league in Marseille, comes to Leeds, wins the league, takes the league from Marseille to Leeds, from Leeds to Manchester United, right? Nobody had done that since until when Kante did it, Leicester to Chelsea.
Oh yeah.
He was at Manchester United for 5 years. They win the league. He plays, they win the league. He plays, they win the league. He's banned for the Kung Fu kick at Selhurst Park.
Yeah.
They don't win the league. He comes back, they win the league. They win the league, he leaves.
Amazing.
They don't win the league.
Amazing. It's unbelievable.
Well, that's the governor,
So
isn't it?
how do you? Yeah.
That's
How do you
unbelievable.
put Rooney in there
That's
then?
unbelievable.
So how do you feel about Cantona being on there?
Absolutely fine. with it.
Because I
Absolutely.
feel like those three are lock-ins.
Absolutely fine.
Wayne Rooney, Thierry Henry, Eric Cantona. It's the fourth
I've got a
spot
rogue-
with a couple minutes
I've
to
got
go.
a really rogue shout.
Go
Can we
on.
discuss it? Can I put it on the table?
Put it on the table
Tony
first.
Adams.
No.
No?
No.
I
No.
don't think it's as no
Oh,
as
no,
you...
no. I cannot be.
If
even
any-
over Vidic, I can't consider
There's not
Tony
even a
Adams.
defender
I
on
can't.
there. You can't have a defender on there.
Rio would make it over Tony Adams as well, in my opinion.
Yeah. If we're going to go another Arsenal player,
No, it could
We
be
don't
any.
have
It
to,
could be
but
anything.
if you want to chuck one out there,
I'm-
I know what
okay,
you're going to say.
I'm going to go Bergkamp.
I knew you were going
No,
to say
I'm going
that.
to go Bergkamp.
I've got the answer.
Well,
It's not
Bergkamp's on
Bergkamp.
the
I love
table.
Bergkamp, but it's not Bergkamp.
Well,
It's
he's on
Ryan
the-
Giggs.
Oh.
Giggs have won 13 league titles.
Giggsy.
The Giggs have won 13 league titles.
Giggs is a good
like
shout.
it's Giggs or Scholes, isn't it? It's Giggs or Scholes, and Scholes won 11, Giggs won 13.
I think Giggs is one of the most underrated players of all time. in the
Ryan
Premier
Giggs,
League.
yeah.
Underrated?
Yeah, he is. Jace, he
In
is.
what way?
No one
No-
talks about him ever. Nobody
Mate,
ever
I
talks
don't know
about
if-
him.
If you're
I don't know
doing
if
a
that's
Premier
true. We
League,
just did.
if you're doing
good
a Premier League 11, if you ever talk to anyone Premier League 11,
Yeah.
that position is Ryan Giggs. I don't give. Sorry. I know I whispered then. I don't know if that made it. I don't know if I said it.
We'll
I don't
bleep
give.
it.
I don't give.
We'll bleep
Like,
it.
It's Ryan Giggs, man.
Yeah.
Giggs won 13 league titles. For context, Chelsea are a massive club, right?
Yeah.
You know, we've won 6
Cristiano?
titles. It's like
Cristiano?
5.
But I
Cristiano?
thought Cristiano at Real Madrid, yes, but not the
Ballon
United.
d'Or.
The United version.
Oh, he won a Ballon d'Or in the Premier League, though,
and
Jace.
he was the last person, wasn't he? I think he was the last
Yeah,
player.
he was the last player.
Rodri?
Oh, of course.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
was.
But
Mate,
Cristiano
yeah.
won a
Lads,
Ballon d'Or, 42 goals that season, Champions League, Premier League, three leagues in a row.
Ryan Giggs won 13 league titles. What are we doing? There's
Are we
no
doing
debate.
2 and 2? What
No,
are we
we
doing
could do
here?
it. We could do 4-0. You could have it. It could
Can't
be.
have 4-0.
No, it could be. It could be. It's just the 4
Can't have
best
4-0,
players.
Rory.
It's the
You
4 best
can't have
players.
4-0.
It's the 4
It's
best
not
players.
fair.
No, I'm not saying I wouldn't have it as 4-0. But it's the 4
Thierry,
best players.
Cantona, Rooney.
Giggs, obviously Giggs.
Happy with Giggs?
Come on, Jace. Who's it? If it's not Giggs, who is it?
Let's leave it with Jace. Let's
Yeah,
leave it with
go on.
Jace. Go on, Jace, lock it in. It's on you. We've got 1 minute to go.
I'm going to go Bergkamp.
Oh, no, he's gone 2-2.
I've just gone Bergkamp.
Fine.
Sorry, boys.
Hey,
I know.
Ryan Giggs
Don't
and
be
Paul
sorry.
Scholes are watching this going, what
Can you
is up
believe
with
it?
that Cundy?
I don't know.
And we know what Scholes is up to in the media.
Yeah.
He's coming for you, by
He's
the way.
coming for me, is
is.
he?
Right, that's it. I'm sorry to say, boys, that is the end of the show. I hope you've had fun.
Great fun.
Always.
Yeah. Wow, here we go. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for watching, as I say. That was a blockbuster episode. And let me tell you something. We'll be back next week, so stay tuned. Take care.